Hello, my friends. I want to welcome you back to this space where we explore timeless wisdom that still speaks to the challenges of our everyday lives. If you're new here, I'm glad you found your way. Today, we're going to walk alongside Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, philosopher, and one of the clearest voices of Stoicism, into a subject that every one of us has faced: how to stay silent under criticism. Before we dive in, if you enjoy reflections like these, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It helps keep this community growing, and it ensures you won't miss future lessons from the Stoics. Now, let's be honest. Criticism stings. It stung in Marcus Aurelius's time, and it stings today. When someone questions your choices, mocks your effort, or challenges your worth, the first instinct is almost always to fight back, to defend yourself with words. But the Stoics taught something radical, that our strength isn't proven by how quickly or how loudly we respond. It's revealed in how calmly we can hold ourselves when others try to shake us. Imagine Marcus Aurelius, ruler of the most powerful empire on earth, sitting in his tent after a day of battle, advisors whispering in his ear, senators questioning his decisions, rivals waiting for him to stumble. He could have shouted back, crushed dissent with force, silenced his enemies with the sheer weight of his position. Yet the writings we have from him don't record outbursts of anger or defensive speeches. Instead, we see page after page of private notes reminding himself to be steady, to let go of what others say, and to guard his inner peace. One of his reflections tells us, "If anyone can refute me, show me I am mistaken, I will gladly change. For I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. But the one who persists in his self-deception and ignorance does himself harm." Notice the difference here. Marcus wasn't afraid of being corrected, but he refused to let insults or unfair judgment disturb his calm. He was willing to learn from truth, but he was unwilling to waste energy on noise. This is the art of silence. It is not weakness, it is mastery. Anyone can lash out. It takes no discipline to speak in anger. But to remain silent, to let words pass through you without attaching to them, requires an inner strength that very few people ever cultivate. Think about your own life. Have you ever been criticized unfairly by a colleague, a friend, maybe even by family? Did you find yourself lying awake, replaying their words, wishing you had said the perfect comeback? Marcus Aurelius faced the same temptation. But instead of spending his nights sharpening responses, he used his silence to sharpen his character. And that's where the invitation lies for us. The next time someone criticizes you, pause. Ask yourself, is this criticism a mirror I can learn from? Or is it simply noise that doesn't deserve my energy? If it is truth, embrace it quietly. If it is noise, let silence be your reply. So as we begin this journey with Marcus Aurelius, I ask you to reflect. What does it mean for you to stay silent? Not out of fear, but out of strength. If this resonates with you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's a small action, but it helps keep Stoic wisdom alive in a world that often values reaction more than reflection. And together, we can build a community where calm strength is seen not as weakness, but as the truest form of power. There is a quiet strength that comes not from raising your voice, not from defending yourself endlessly, but from sitting in silence and allowing the storm of words to pass. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that people will always have opinions, and many of those opinions will not be kind. Yet, he also noted something profound: that the opinion of others only has power if we hand them the keys to our peace of mind. When someone criticizes you, there is always a temptation to respond immediately, to prove them wrong, to reclaim your dignity through words. But the Stoics saw dignity differently. They believed true dignity was not in winning arguments, but in maintaining self-command. What could possibly be more powerful than showing that another person's anger or insults cannot disturb your inner balance? Think of it this way. The critic throws a stone. expecting you to throw it back. Silence is the act of letting the stone fall to the ground, untouched. By not reacting, you reveal who truly holds control. The one who shouts shows dependence on your reaction. The one who stays silent shows mastery over himself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If someone despises me, that is their concern. Mine is not to be found doing or saying anything worthy of contempt." This does not mean silence is weakness. It is, in fact, the highest form of strength, because it resists the natural pull of pride and ego. To remain silent is not to surrender. It is to rise above the battlefield entirely. You are not denying the attack. You are refusing to let it reach your core. The Stoic knows that the true battle is not against the critic, but against his own impulse to lash out. If you reflect on your own life, how many times have words, spoken in anger, caused more damage than the criticism itself? Often, the critic forgets their words soon after, but the wound we create in our own soul by reacting in fury lasts much longer. Silence is not only a shield against the critic, it is also a shield against ourselves, against the regret that follows reckless words. And here is where I want to pause for a moment and invite you, if these ideas resonate, to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you're not only supporting the work of bringing Stoic wisdom into today's noisy world, but also ensuring you'll never miss the next reflection that may speak directly to your own journey. Together, we are building a space of calm thought, where philosophy is not just studied, but lived. Returning to Marcus Aurelius, silence is also an act of freedom. When you do not respond, you prove that your emotions are not chained to the voice of another. You choose when to speak and when not to. This is sovereignty of the soul, and sovereignty, once tasted, becomes more precious than any victory in argument. The critic believes they can touch you with words. The Stoic shows that words alone cannot harm what is unshaken inside. Silence, then, becomes not emptiness, but presence, not weakness, but power, not retreat, but transcendence. So the next time you face criticism, pause, feel the impulse to react, and then remember Marcus's counsel. You owe no response, no defense, no anger. Sometimes the most profound answer is none at all. Now I'd like to ask you, when was the last time you chose silence instead of reacting to criticism? And how did it change the outcome? Share your reflections in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences. In the end, silence is not just about restraint. It is about creating space for wisdom to arise. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world filled with voices, advisors, soldiers, politicians, even enemies. Every day, he was surrounded by judgment and criticism. Yet the meditations he left behind are not filled with rebuttals against his critics. They are filled with reflections, questions he asked himself about virtue, self-control, and what it means to live well. That is the deeper lesson for us. Silence is not an empty void. It is an opportunity to listen, to the world, to others, and most importantly, to ourselves. When we choose not to react, we create a pause, and in that pause, we gain clarity. Many people believe they are free because they can speak whenever they want. But true freedom, Marcus would argue, is being able to remain silent when speaking would betray your peace. Consider how often words spill out that we later wish we could take back. They cannot be retrieved, cannot be undone. But silence? Silence never needs apology. Silence never requires repair. It is, in its own way, the safest path. And yet, it is not passive. It is an active choice, a conscious demonstration that your worth is not dependent on defending yourself before every opinion that drifts your way. There is also compassion in silence. For sometimes, criticism reflects not who you are, but the pain of the one speaking. A bitter tongue often reveals a bitter heart. By refusing to react, you protect not only your peace, but also give the other person space to reflect on their own words. Marcus knew that every person acts from their own perspective, shaped by wounds and ignorance. To stay silent is, in a sense, to acknowledge their humanity without feeding their fire. And this is why silence, when practiced with awareness, becomes an act of courage. It resists the temptation of pride, it guards against the damage of anger, and it cultivates the soil where patience and wisdom can grow. If you found these reflections meaningful, I invite you once again to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep this conversation alive, bringing Stoic wisdom into our modern struggles. More than that, it builds a community of thoughtful people walking the same path of calm strength. So let us end with a question that I encourage you to carry into your own reflections. If silence is a form of strength, what does your silence reveal about you? Share your thoughts in the comments. I truly look forward to reading your perspective.